What's up guys, and welcome to my 4th annual Halloween special, a video where I review a bunch of sweets and treats related to Halloween. Or, at least I would anyway, because for some reason this year there's not a lot of new Halloween candy out there. Not only that, but a lot of the stuff that did come out this year wasn't even Halloween themed, but it was more so themed towards the fall season in general. However, I do have some Halloween specific products that I will save for the end of the video. Side note by the way, but the last couple of years that I've done this Halloween special, I try to make it themed after something horror related. So for example, 2 years ago, my video was themed after the 1978 film Halloween. And then last year, I had it themed after Stranger Things. And I was going to do a theme this year, but I just ran out of time. I have been working so many hours at my job for the last couple of months that I just haven't had time to plan something out. Now, originally I was going to theme this video after Skinamarink, the horror movie that came out earlier this year, but again, I just got so busy that I didn't get a chance to do it. So this year we're just getting your standard generic Halloween theme. Starting off, we have Werther's Originals Pumpkin Spice Flavored Soft Caramel. So not only do we have the most popular brand of caramel, but we also have the most popular flavor for the autumn season. So this should be good. Alright, Pumpkin Spice Flavored Soft Caramel. Let's go. It's fine. While you can taste the pumpkin spice flavor in this, unfortunately it's not a lot because it's vastly overpowered by the caramel flavor. Next up we have Caramel Apple Soft Caramel. By the way, has anybody noticed that there's been like an influx of caramel apple flavored things this season? Yes, I know that caramel apple is typically associated with the fall season, but it's usually dominated by pumpkin spice. But this year, there seems to be a lot more caramel apple flavored things. In fact, I even have 3 more caramel apple flavors to review in this video. Also, just a couple weeks ago, I even reviewed caramel apple flavored donuts. So it seems like this flavor is trying to make a comeback and take over as the predominant fall flavor. Ooh! Okay, so unlike with the pumpkin spice flavor soft caramels, this has a very strong apple smell to it. So hopefully that also translates to a strong apple taste. Alright, caramel apple flavored soft caramel. Let's go. Well, thankfully, unlike the pumpkin spice version, this has a good amount of apple flavor to it. And it has a very good mix between the apple and caramel flavors as well. Next up, we've got Pumpkin Spice Caramel Ghirardelli Squares. They even have a really nice fall design on the wrappers as well. Alright, Pumpkin Spice Caramel Ghirardelli Squares. Let's go. This is really good. Now, of course, the chocolate's delicious because it's Ghirardelli, but there's also a ton of both pumpkin spice and caramel flavor. And thankfully, they all pair together perfectly. Take notes, Werthers! Next up, we've got Caramel Apple Ghirardelli Squares. And after those pumpkin spice caramel squares, I have nothing but high hopes for these. Alright, Caramel Apple Ghirardelli Squares. Let's go. These are freaking delicious. Just like with the last product, these have a fantastic mix between chocolate, caramel, and apple flavors. Next up, we've got Sour Patch Kids Apple Harvest. Now this is actually a collection of 3 different apple flavors. We have cranberry apple, apple cider, and then caramel apple. And all 3 of these flavors sound freaking delicious. Alright, I have 1 of each flavor, so I'm going to start off with the cranberry apple. Very good cranberry flavor, but I can't taste the apple in it at all. Next up we have apple cider. This surprisingly tastes a lot like apple cider. Not exactly, but it's pretty close. Last but not least, we have caramel apple. And again, surprisingly, this tastes pretty close to caramel apple. If I had to rank these, I would make number 1 apple cider, and then number 2, surprisingly, would be cranberry apple, despite the fact that I couldn't really taste any apple in it at all. And then last but not least would be caramel apple, but all 3 of these flavors were very good. So, something went wrong. So I was just trying to edit this video for you guys whenever I realized that for some reason the second half of all the footage that I shot became corrupted and it's completely unusable. And to be honest, I don't even know how that happened. So whenever I shoot videos, I always have a monitor to the right of me to make sure that everything is properly framed up and to make sure that I'm actually recording. So when I was shooting this year's Halloween video, I kept checking the monitor to make sure that everything was going smoothly. Nothing on the monitor was going wrong and it said that I was recording. So I thought I was all good. And then for some reason, the last half of all the footage that I shot was just a garbled mess. And what's worse is that I only have 1 more day till Halloween and I have to get this video done. Now thankfully I I still have all the products that I reviewed for the video, so I figured that I would just do some sort of re-review for all the products that got lost in the corrupted footage. And that way I can still somewhat salvage this video. Starting off, we have Glowberry flavored Prime Energy Drink. Now, I've been meaning to do a video on Prime Energy drinks for a while now, but I wanted to do all the main flavors in one video. However, I can never find all the main flavors. So I figured that I would just start with this flavor, and if I like it well enough, then I can do more videos later on. Now, in the original video, you know, before it got screwed up, I mentioned that this smelled a lot like apples and that it had a very sweet, fruity taste overall. So overall, if you're a fan of sweet, fruity flavored things, then you'll probably enjoy this. Next up, we have the 5th iteration of Mountain Dew Voodoo Zero Sugar. Now, for those of you that don't know, Voodoo is actually a mystery flavor that Mountain Dew releases every single year for Halloween for the last 5 years. Now, thankfully, I missed out on the first year because it was candy corn, and candy corn is the worst candy known to man. But every other flavor since then I've had, and I've really enjoyed them all. Now, for some stupid reason, Mountain Dew already announced what the mystery flavor was before Halloween. However, I purposely didn't look up what the flavor was supposed to be because I wanted to keep my review honest and genuine. Now, when I initially tried this for the video, I thought it tasted like a carbonated version of the Glacier Cherry flavored Gatorade. And now that I think about it, the liquid kind of looks like it too. But according to Mountain Dew themselves, the flavor is supposed to be cherry flavored Airheads. And I would have never guessed that because up until that point, I haven't had Airheads in probably 10 years. So of course, after shooting that video, I went ahead and tried a cherry Airhead for the first time in a while. And honestly, I didn't think that this tasted anything like that. But even then, I still thought that this was a very good flavor. Not my favorite, but also not my least favorite either. So I would say that if you're a fan of cherry Airheads, or you're like me and you like Glacier Cherry Gatorade, then you'll probably like this. Next up, we've got Carmella Creeper Cereal. That's right, Kellogg's made a new character for the Monster cereal lineup. Now, not only is she a new character, but according to the box, she is the long-lost zombie cousin of Frankenberry. Now, you guys may remember that a couple years ago, I actually tried the 3 main Monster cereals for the first time, and by far, my favorite was Frankenberry. That one was just delicious. Now, this cereal is supposed to be caramel apple flavored, and while you certainly can taste the caramel apple in there, it's not much, and definitely not enough worth making a whole character out of. So for me personally, Frankenberry still reigns supreme. Last but not least, we have Monster Mash Remix. Now, back when I reviewed the 3 main Monster cereals a couple years ago, I also reviewed the original Monster Mash, and I thought it tasted like a jumbled mess of flavors. And I thought that this was going to be the same thing with just a new name and an added caramel flavor. But thankfully, I was pleasantly surprised, because while the original Monster Mash was just a mess of flavors, this new remix actually had a pretty prominent berry flavor. Now, I will say that even though the remix version did improve upon the original version, it was still very much a generic berry flavor, so I still wouldn't recommend it. Well guys, I guess that'll do it for this year's Halloween special. With the obvious exception that half my footage was corrupted, I thought that this year overall was pretty good, because even the worst thing that I had was still pretty decent. However, if I had to pick a favorite, it would definitely be the Caramel Apple Ghirardelli Squares. These things were fantastic. Were you guys curious to try any of these products? Or if you've had them, let me know what you thought about them in the comments down below. And while you're down there, I will also have a link for all my social medias, in case you want to follow me there for some reason. If you guys enjoyed the video, then make sure to give it a like, and subscribe as well because I have more content just like this coming soon. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go ahead and finish editing this video before tomorrow. So, I'll see you in the next video.